Welcome back, investors, to the Investing with Our YouTube channel for another video. If you're new to the channel, I am a UK-based investor focusing mainly on US stocks, and I started the portfolio I will be showing you today in April 2021. I am fortunate enough to have gone past the golden milestone having a 100k portfolio, and I'll be showing you the ups and possibly more importantly the downs of my investing journey. This includes the buys, the sales, and the dividend income I receive. So if you're a returning viewer, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe so you can follow my journey. Now, let's get into it. Today's video is going to be summarizing the second week of August. So we ended last week at 119,233 and we ended this week at 119,644 for a £289 loss. And that's because I added some money to the account during the week. So pretty much a steady week, a slight loss, but more or less sideways. If we look at the overall month performance, we were up 3.4% for a £3,882 gain. And overall, we're up just under £28,000. So the portfolio is performing quite well. So what happened to the portfolio during the week? So I sold off my remaining MicroStrategy position. So as mentioned in several videos, I'm not a fan of the dilution that the company is exercising. It seems like every single week there is a dilution of shareholders to buy more Bitcoin. Long term, this is a good strategy, but for me in the near term, it's not something I'm a fan of. So I've sold my remainder, which I had 14.7 shares, and I sold it for a £405 profit. And I ended up buying about a third each of Robinhood, which is a company I'm very bullish on, Broadcom, which is performing fantastically well, as is Nvidia, in fact competing with it and going stride for stride really. And I thought these two stocks needed to be a slightly bigger allocation in my portfolio. Also, there was a drop in the market for Robinhood, and I couldn't resist buying £700 more. So now overall, my holding in Robinhood is gone past 100 shares, and this is a position I'm really, really happy about. Also, with the purchases of Nvidia and Broadcom, remember they were both over 100% within my portfolio, but now because I've bought them at a more expensive price than when I initially had them, my average price goes up, which means my overall gain within both of these has gone down to 60%. My profit is still there. So when you buy shares for more expensive, your average price goes up. And when you buy it for cheaper, your average cost goes down. So yeah, I'm going to have to wait again until they reach 100%. But I'm pretty sure both of these companies will do again because they're such solid performers. Now, the other major piece of news this week was that Warren Buffett, probably the most famous investor of our generation, acquired or disclosed his holding in a secret stock, which was United Health. He filed with the regulators to say, look, I want to buy this company in secret so it doesn't trigger the market. As you can see on this chart, after it was disclosed, it did trigger the market. So he wanted to buy this stock secretly. So this stock, if you follow the markets, at one point this year was at $600, and it's half that. It's down 47%. So Buffett likes to buy undervalued stocks, and he sees this one as one. And obviously the market is reacting really positively to this, including other prominent investors such as Michael Burry, who was famous for shorting the housing market in 2008 and making a lot of money, which is documented in a film called The Big Short, which is a good film actually. If you haven't watched that yet, please watch it. It's very enjoyable, especially if you're financially minded. So he increases under allocation in that, and also a billionaire hedge fund investor called David Tepper, who is in charge of a hedge fund called Appaloosa Management, has increased its stake by about 10%. Tepper is quite famous for finding undervalued stocks and acquiring them do well. His hedge fund has had a 17% annualized return for the last 5 years. So this company has already had quite a bit of institutional buying, and that's probably going to continue now that Buffett is involved. I have a small holding of it in my investor account, and it could be that I add to this because these hedge funds aren't adding at 250-ish or 270-ish to then sell it at 325. It's going to go higher than that. Now, outside of the markets, another major occurrence happened, and that is my YouTube channel going past 1K subscribers. This is something I'm really, really, really proud of. Honestly, guys, I really appreciate the follows. And yeah, this is a major milestone for me. So if you can, please give this video a like so other people can see it and continue subscribing and following my journey. Hit that bell icon so you get notified when I do upload. It's usually once a week. I put a bonus video in this week actually, where I talked about how I track my dividends. This was an additional video, and I might do more if I get more likes and subscribers. I might increase the number of videos I do. So at the moment it's one a week. So please, thank you very much for following me, and if you have any questions, put them down below. I'll try to answer every single one. So now in terms of dividends for the week, I got three. Those were £1.74 from Apple, £23.39 from AbbVie, which I now no longer own, but I still held the stock before the ex-dividend date, so I got the payment, and also Costco for £2.64, taking my overall total dividends for this account to 7,077. Now, as you would expect for a pretty much sideways week, not too many big fluctuations in the portfolio, but one particular stock that didn't do so well was Hims. So the week before it was one of the best performers, but after the earnings with lukewarm guidance, the stocks fell, but also it fell a bit more when its CEO Andrew Dudham sold some shares within the market, which caused a bit of panic within the stock that there might be other underlying factors afoot. But I think he sold a similar amount of shares last year, so it's not unusual for him. But again, the markets reacted quite negatively after that, but then recovered a little bit at the end. Now, this is a company that overall for me is down 20%, but I'm going to keep holding. As I mentioned before, the management of this company is good. They grew it to a profitable situation without any debt over the last 3 or 4 years. So let's see what happens. Obviously, the big thing is whether Novo Nordisk sues them or not. They are suing similar companies that are copying its weight loss drug, but Hims isn't named amongst those companies that it is suing, but it doesn't mean that it won't happen in the future. But then recently the CFO said that they're not breaking any rules, so let's see how that plays out. But at the moment I'm going to be holding, and let's see how that plays out. So generally pretty much sideways for most of the stocks. Amazon had a decent week and it was up 3.69%, and the shares are currently trading at $230. Also, Elgen, which is a company that pretty much does nothing in terms of share price, had a decent week, up 2.54%. And if you look overall, it's up 6.67%, mainly held by many for its large dividend. If you can add share price growth to it, that this becomes an even nicer stock to hold. So overall, most of the companies performing at either a 1 or 2% up or down, which isn't major. Google, quite importantly, held above 200. So it went over $200 last week. And as you can see, it tested a few times at 200 and it held above, which is really, really important, settling at $203 for the week. If it goes below 200, we might see a further fall down, but the fact that it's holding is quite a strong, solid sign. So I'm really, really happy about that, considering it's my biggest holding. Overall, Visa, MasterCard had decent weeks. Visa up 2.27%. and MasterCard up 1.16% respectively. So these are what I believe are the backbone of my portfolio. They're quite solid stocks that give me about 15 to 20% per annum. As you can see, when you do buy new stocks, sometimes they can be volatile, like my Oscar holdings and my Hims holdings. So it is good to have some solidity in your portfolio. Robinhood, as mentioned earlier, I've got over 100 shares and it's number 6 in my portfolio right now. And as you saw earlier, the drop, which made me buy some additional shares during the week, but settling at $113.82, with my average cost being at $106.98. So yeah, Overall, most positions are green, barring Hims and Oscar. Oscar actually had a good week in the end, especially after United Health got revealed as the secret stock of Warren Buffett. Oscar Health saw a rise because it's in the same industry, and settling in the end from about 1450 to 1578. So a good week for Oscar overall, and it's bullish for the market that Warren Buffett acquired United Health, and bigger institutions will follow suit too, which will drive the share prices within this sector up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for joining me on this video. Again, a quick summary, pretty much sideways, down 0.2% for the week. Hopefully next week will be more solid. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video.